Hey guys, so I want to come up here really quickly and make another quick video. I was praying once again, and the Most High was sharing something with me in my spirit, or just kind of reckoning in my spirit. Something that I've been kind of on for the last few weeks or so, and I just thought, let me share with you all. There are times in our lives where you may you feel pressed and urged to do something, and you do it, and you step out on faith and you follow the Most High, and as soon as you do it, it seems like everything goes through, like falls through the cracks, and or you just find yourself struggling with where you are at this point in your life with with your decision, because you're like, wow, okay, I did it. I don't feel like I regretted it or like I shouldn't have done it. I know that the Most High led me to do it, but I was hoping, or at least thinking, that things would be a little bit different, or they would turn around a little bit quicker. And I was kind of feeling like that my own self. Those who follow me know, I left my corporate job almost a year ago now. I don't regret it. I still to this day rejoice like I was the day I walked out of there almost a year ago. But in the meantime, I have at times felt like, wow, okay, there's still things I want to do. There's bigger steps that I have planned that I want to do and that I'm praying to the Most High about, and just a whole different new path for my life. And I know I will get there, but I was just kind of hoping, like, sometimes I feel like, okay, how much longer will it be before I get there? And so I don't doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that I will have it or obtain it, but it's just, okay, I thought it was going to be a little quicker. And like I said, I haven't wanted for nothing. I haven't missed a payment on anything. I'm still in my home. I have a mortgage and everything like that. Nothing has been turned off, disconnected, lacked. I've never missed a meal. Like, I'm good, okay? But there's still times where I'm like, it's challenging, because you go from, having a certain lifestyle or being used to something, and then the Lord or the Most High brings you down to a base level. And you're still good, but it feels different. And so this is my experience. I mean, you all may have it in some other regard. I'm not sure what all, you may be dealing with in your life. But for me, my experience was, although I hated working where I was working at, because it was spiritually depressing and oppressing, for the sake of just wanting to do other things, and then just the spirits that I worked around, very oppressive spirits, to say the least. But then also, I was comfortable with it because I was making good money. I could book a vacation whenever I wanted to. Whatever I wanted to do, I pretty much could do it. And so now to say, okay, yeah, I gave all that up to follow you, and I'm grateful, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'll do it again. But sometimes we just kind of feel like, or I just kind of feel like, I was kind of hoping that, my prayer, whatever I wanted would have came a little bit quicker. Or sometimes the road before you seems a little blurry, and you're just like, okay, I know I'm going right, but you got to walk with your instincts. You got to walk with your faith now versus your eyes. And that's what the scripture tells us to do. The just shall live by faith and not by sight. But then the Most High began to reveal to me that you come out of Exodus, because leaving my job for many reasons was my Exodus. I had been praying for about 2-3 years, 2.5 years before I actually, well, I'll say about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years before I actually left. I was ready to go for a long time, but it wasn't until last year, last February, when I actually put in my last day, and I walked out, and then I turned in my badge and I said goodbye. But that was my Exodus. And so Yahweh could, because I liken it to like the Israelites. They were crying out, they were hard oppressed, and they weren't comfortable there. And I had the same exact experience where I was at my corporate job. And so I was grateful for it and all that good stuff. But at the same time, I said, my spirit is not comfortable here. I have other things I want to do. And then I just was not liking the spirits that I had to deal with and the things I had to deal with there. It was just very oppressing, and I couldn't stand it. And I hated it every day. And I was working 10-hour days then. I was up at 5, close to 6 in the morning. I was at work at 6:30, and I wasn't clocking out till 4:30. And taking 30-minute lunches, if that much. And I was doing 4 days a week, but 10-hour days. And just straight typing on a computer literally for 10 hours. Like, that's mentally draining. Anyway, so my Exodus was when I left. The Most High finally, he heard my prayer, and he not finally, he always heard it, but the day came for me to finally leave, and he gave me my Exodus. And then he brought me to the place I'm in now. And this is what I really want to get into. If you read the title of the message of the video, you're being in your wilderness season, being in your wilderness. He brought me, I didn't realize it until just a few weeks ago, but he brought me to my wilderness because at first I was just so happy that I was gone. I was catching up on rest and, I was relaxing. But then I began to say, okay, all right, yeah, I'm ready to get busy. There's things I want to do ministry wise, and I wasn't doing them just yet. Or I tapped into a little bit, but then they kind of fell apart or kind of, fizzed out. For whatever reason, the Most High, I guess, was preparing me for something else. But anyway, I realized he brought me to my wilderness. And this is a very important step. If you remember, just like he did with the Israelites, he brought them into the wilderness. And just like in Ezekiel, I believe it is, where he'll gather us again, he's going to bring us into the wilderness and judge us and purge out the rebels from among us and then bring us into the land. So you always need a wilderness experience. But how you handle your wilderness experience is what makes a difference. Because when I was reading, when I first got into my wilderness experience, I told you all, I think I mentioned it in my videos before, that I had started reading over the Old Testament, quote unquote, again, because I never really read it in the Christian church. There wasn't a need to, and I didn't understand it. It was confusing to me, like it was gibberish. And I think that's just because the Most High had my mind set to open up to receive and see what I need to see from those books. Well, I would read like Proverbs and Psalms. That's it. But anyway, and as I began reading back over, I began to read about the Israelites Exodus out, and then they went into the wilderness. Now, the thing about them is that when they got there, their spirit was not prepared at all for it. Well, at least the majority of them. They were ungrateful. They were complaining. They had attitudes. They had all kinds of foolishness. But yet, they were in a position where they had... They left a bad situation, but they believed that they still had some, but not only believe, they left a bad situation in Egypt, but there were still some things about it that they considered good. Just like how I left my bad job, but there were still some things I considered about it good because I was kind of sort of overflowing with money, not really, but in the sense of being able to do what I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it, knowing that I'm going to always have income coming in steadily or whatever. And not having to watch dollars as much. I was able to do what I wanted to do. So I was in a bad situation, but there was still some good. Just like how the Israelites saw that Egypt was horrible, but there was still some good because some complained and said we should go back to Egypt because we had the leeks and we had the vegetables. We had this and the third. And here you brought us out here in the wilderness, in the desert, to eat manna. And, they was complaining. And so this is the key point. I'm in the same situation. I'm in my wilderness period. I'm not going to prolong it. I refuse to do that because I'm not the person that wants to prolong anything because that's unenjoyable. While I'm here, I'm going to stay faithful. I'm going to not complain. I don't have any reason to complain. But it's when you're in the wilderness, when the Most High brings you through out of your Exodus, purges out of you all those things that you had, picked up on or whatever when you were in your Exodus, you're in your Egypt, your Mitzrayim. He's going to remove all that stuff, purge it out from among you, and then he's going to bring you into your promised land. And so I'm thanking the Most High for doing that for me. I believe that it will be soon. By faith, it will be soon. That everything that I have up before him, that he knows how I want my life to be and how I want to be positioned, he will grant me that will, just like how I desire it to be. I have no desire to live the American life anymore. Maybe some of you all still have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking you. For me, I don't care nothing about climbing the corporate ladder. I don't care nothing about making career moves or power moves or networking so that you can, look and appear good. I don't care nothing about living with tax deductibles and premiums and co-pays and insurance and, all these things, mortgages and 401ks and IRAs and withdrawal early, anything like that. I'm not caring about tax. This is income tax season. I don't care about filing returns and making sure you dot your I's and cross all your T's. I don't want to live in that life anymore. I want a simple, basic life where it's just I have what I need and the Most High is on my mind 24/7. I can spend time with him as I want and as I desire and be able to go forth and minister, visit orphanages or widows and whatever have you. The things that, I'm not just saying it because of scripture. I really have a desire to do these things. I volunteered a lot when I had the time to, twice a week, sometimes for six months straight or so, in the school system with young African-American youth, Black Hebrew youth, pouring into them. I love these things. That's what I want my mind to be on. I don't want my mind to be in the place where I have to spend a few hours doing what I love and then come back and stop and think about gas bills and insurance premiums. we have so many things in America that are distractions that makes it so hard for us to see the Most High Yah that, we can't even focus on him like we are supposed to, because there's so many things that we have thrown in our face and wrapped around us that has our soul literally choked, that we don't need. We don't need co-pays. We don't need, in this society you do. But in the way that the Most High set up his Commonwealth kingdom, we don't need to be concerned about premiums and deductibles. It doesn't matter. Now, some people may think that's extreme and you may not desire that. And that's fine. That's cool. I'm talking about me, what makes me happy. I can't live in this choking society where you're so preoccupied and forced to consider and think about things that you don't need to take any thought for, like the scripture says, Matthew 6:33. But going back to what I was saying about the wilderness is that while you're in your wilderness season, and the most High revealed to me, I'm in my wilderness season. Remain grateful, don't complain. And while he's bringing you from where you used to be down to wherever, because he's going to make you a base just so he can try your heart, purge out of you everything that's in you that you don't need. And then he's going to prepare you for the promised land. Remain faithful while you're in that season. Remain faithful. Do not complain. Do not give up hope. As long as it takes, okay? As long as it takes. It may be 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 5 years, it may be 2 weeks. Whatever your period is,